kuvutia sana, maana yake nilikuwa nimekwisha kufahamisha kwamba iwapo basi naibu wa rais Rigathi Gachagua hana doa, basi mambo yatakuwa namna gani. Na pia nimekumbuka kwamba kuna swala la what does this impeachment mean for the Mount Kenya region, na pia vile vile kuhusiana na masuala ambayo yanaonekana kuwa mvuto sana wa kisiasa. Sijui ni nani angependa kuanza jambo hili la awamu ya pili, lakini mwanzo kabisa, mpenzi mtazamaji, kumbuka kwamba kulikuwa na sehemu ya awali ambapo tulikuwa tumesema kwamba there is a political divide. What does that mean for the country? Hebu tuanze na swali ambalo nilikuwa nimekuelezea, Victor.
Okay, kwanza kuna makosa makubwa ambayo the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua alifanya wakati walikuwa wanashikana na William Ruto. Rigathi Gachagua aliingia kwa chama cha UDA, akasahau kuja na chama chake. There ought to be a coalition between William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua. Kwa hivyo Rigathi Gachagua angekuwa na numbers in the National Assembly, hata ile impeachment motion ainge sail through. So first of all, my advice, if Rigathi Gachagua goes through from the courts and retains his position, of which I'm hoping he will, akifanya hivyo, jambo la kwanza ni kuanza kufikiria jinsi ya kuwa na chama cha Mount Kenya. Because as it stands, Mount Kenya region does not have a political party. And because they don't have a political party, they don't have a bargaining power. Some other people, few people are bought and making a decision on their behalf. Ndio maana tumeona kuna a lot of hostility kwa wale wabunge ambao walivote in support of the motion ya kuimpeach Rigathi Gachagua kwa National Assembly at the grassroots level. Watu wengi wa Mount Kenya hawajafurahia. Na leo hii Rigathi Gachagua angerudi ground na apate chama yake, and IBC is in place, they just collect signatures to recall those members of parliament. And once they recall them, they just come, watu wasimame na hiyo chama ambayo itakuwa imekuja na Mount Kenya kwa by elections, and then they will beat UDA in Mount Kenya. Once they beat UDA in Mount Kenya, they will come with their own political outfit. And that's how they will have a true bargaining power and a true meaning of their numbers and resources in Mount Kenya region.
I think, first of all, the allegations, those allegations were just choreographed, as I said before. And then another thing is that the constitution was not followed to the letter, because these people who proceeded the motions in both houses were actually instigated by the political external forces. And we all know who instigated everything. So Gachagua, iwapo court ita rule out in his favor, Gachagua needs to come back and reorganize himself. Gachagua needs to repaint himself in terms of the smartness, political smartness. As my friend has said, Gachagua needs his own political party, which is an essence of mounting to power. So Gachagua, as it stands, was handpicked by William Samoei Ruto. And William Samoei Ruto, we all know, is politically smart, right? So when Gachagua comes out of that cage, of course, he'll continue being a deputy president. But uniting Mount Kenya is not all about defending their businesses. It's not all about drumming for, supporting their day-to-day activities. There is a deeper meaning of you becoming a kingpin for Mount Kenya. Gachagua needs to go down and sit with Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta has not, gotten up clearly to him because of that lost trust during campaign. Uhuru Kenyatta had a political party, right? And now the current political party that is in Mount Kenya that I'm seeing it can be easily revived is that NARC Kenya. Because Martha Karua is still strong on her own. So Gachagua needs to come back, not necessarily to form his own political party, but he might see a political party that has been trending, that has also seconded somebody in power, and then he gets there, so that they can strengthen that political party, unite Mount Kenya, and defend their supremacy in terms of the population. So Gachagua is still in a better big position.
Kuna wazo hapa nimeona kwamba kuna jamaa anaandika kwamba that there was a problem, of course, na ile story ya Adani.
So where specifically do you need us to approach on Adani?
Ningependa kuweza kujua saa swala sasa la Rigathi Gachagua kuweza kusema kwamba kulikuwa na challenging times between now the president and the Rigathi Gachagua on the same.
Absolutely, president is a sycophant to the external support. That is the way I can put it. He's a sycophant to the external support. President fears using his own resources within the country, and you cannot bring up a country to a certain level without first of all leveraging on the country's strength. So Gachagua revealing that Adani's entry into Kenyan, public parastatals or something, it irritates William Samoei Ruto, because William Samoei Ruto needs to bring external support so that he can also, embezzle the funds that are allocated to the executive within. Ndio atumie hizo funds zenye zinaletwa na nchi za nje. So President nani Gachagua was just clearly telling Ruto, Adani to Kenya is not yet a good moment for us, because we need first of all to paint Kenya, to revive Kenya, because if we continue bringing external support and yet we have not leveraged on the potentials, we have not utilized the resources we have, it means these people, we are now supporting the third colony in this country. And there was a time I put into my social media status, the Chinese and the Indians are now coming to colonize Kenya because we believe into their massive resources. So, I mean, the deputy president was just clear and was just advising the president that it is not yet time for Adani.
Political game to get rid of Gachagua?
The political game to get rid of Gachagua, you know, Gachagua has some political muscles. As much as we all thought he was a village man, Gachagua is gaining momentum and is gaining ground in the Mount Kenya region, thinking that he can actually come and occupy the space of Uhuru Kenyatta. And William Ruto is afraid of having a strong deputy, and also is now seeing Gachagua as a possible competitor, instead of someone as an assistant or someone who is supposed to help him deliver his mandate. When you look at Raila Odinga also in the picture, Raila Odinga and William Ruto, they've teamed up against Gachagua. And in my own opinion, Gachagua has an advantage of numbers, because Mount Kenya controls like 5 counties. If you add other 3 counties, which is like Laikipia, we are talking about Nakuru, Nairobi, and some part of Kajiado. So you find that the Mount Kenya region that is under Rigathi Gachagua has the wealth of numbers and also has resources. You see, if you count billionaires from Mount Kenya, you can easily count up to 10. But right now, if I tell you count billionaires from Nyanza, you will struggle to get to 5. So they're trying to tame him because of the fear that he might pose a possible challenge in 2027. But Rigathi Gachagua is very clear. He has to defend his people because his people are in business. And that's why he mentions about the Adani deal. He mentions about overtaxation yesterday in his presser. He said actually he's the only man in cabinet that will speak up to the president. And he said that the president hates anybody who speaks the truth. I don't know how true that it is, but every Kenyan knows it's true. So, Rigathi Gachagua is being fought politically by 2 people. This is Raila Odinga and this is William Ruto. But Rigathi Gachagua has taken them by shirt, ameshika mashati zao wote wawili, and anawadrag kwa kona. And if he wins in this petition, through the courts and retains his position, he will come out as a very strong candidate, having fought the opposition and the government combined. You see, that is the advantage that Rigathi Gachagua has, and also he has gained a lot of sympathy from Kenyans. Remember myself, I was a Raila Odinga supporter, and I even voted for Raila Odinga in 2022. But I'm certain that right now I cannot vote for him, because he has proved to be who he is, and every Kenyan has seen him. Actually, watu wanamuita yeye sasa saini babafua. He just washes your sins away. Regardless how corrupt you are, the moment you get to that laundry called Capitol Hill offices in Upper Hill, you get out, you are as clean as cotton, as white as cotton. So that is how Raila Amolo Odinga is viewed by people. And he has lost trust with the people. We always knew Raila Amolo Odinga as somebody who defends the people, who fights corruption, who defends democracy. But right now, Raila Odinga is complacent with corruption. He is actually so friendly with corruption, because this government is being fought by the same people who voted them in. And why it's being fought because of corruption, because of high taxes. Right now, they are going to add taxes on bread, which was rejected in the finance bill. So they are bringing the finance bill 2024 through the back door. And Kenyans went to the streets, and in unison, regardless of the tribe, the political party, they said no to this finance bill. And Raila Odinga is presiding over. Raila Odinga is saying that Adani is it's a clean company doing clean business. For your information, Adani did not build Mumbai Airport. Adani only took over the management of Mumbai Airport. Adani, there were demonstrations in India where it originates. The government took their money and invested in Adani, and there were losses. up to 30-something%. People lost their money. In Australia, they rejected Adani. There was a lady who stood, a member of of parliament who stood and said no to Adani, and Adani was kicked out outside the country. Adani has scandals all over. Right now, they want to use our title deed for JKIA to secure loans. Wanasema tuwatumie title deed ya JKIA. And remember, Adani is not coming to build an airport. Adani is just coming to manage our airport. You know, our airport is worth 2 trillion. You can't tell me you're injecting in less than 95 billion or something.
95, yeah, sure.
They are taking over our power lines. This power that you are seeing here is a factor of production. We cannot produce. And in fact, sai, unaona tarifu zetu, the cost per unit of our energy, it's very high compared to our neighbors. But again, Adani wants to come and invest in it, which means this cost per unit is going higher than it is already. And Raila Odinga is saying, okay, Adani is a very good... You know, when they dug into the history of Adani, they found out that in 2012, Raila Odinga was actually funded by Adani. That is information which is out there in the public. Adani started managing airports in 2019, and Raila was lying that Adani wrote to them during the Grand Coalition government that they want to manage our airport. We accept the fact that our airport needs to be upgraded to hold up to how many 5 million passengers per year. We agree. But how should it be done? Why is the process not competitive? There were other firms which had shown interest with better terms. Why prefer Adani? So Raila Odinga and William Ruto should come out to Kenyans and be clear about the Adani issue. And I'm glad that the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, is defending Kenyans regards to this issue of Adani. So he's standing on the side of Kenyans. And whoever stands on the side of Kenyans, we are going to support him, regardless of his past. I know Rigathi Gachagua doesn't have a clean past. But right now, he's singing the tune and the songs of the people. And now we are going to embrace him and stand with him until we fight this war of Adani and we win as Kenyans.
Najua, Victor, umetaja mambo mengi sana ambayo ninahisi kwamba baadhi ya masuala tungekuwa tunayajadili sasa ni kuhusiana na yale ambayo yanamhusu sasa Mkenya ama mwananchi wa kawaida. Vile vile ukizungumzia kwamba kumekuwa na story ya kuweza kumngatua Rigathi Gachagua, ya tukaweza pia kugusia swala la finance bill ambayo pia inaonekana kuweza kuwa changamoto sana hasa kwa wananchi kwenye maisha ya mbele. Lakini sasa Veran, unahisi kwamba kwa sababu tunaelekea kwenye msimamo wa kuweza kujua mwananchi ana nafasi gani hapa nchini Kenya. Yes, ametaja kwamba kuna swala la kuweza kumsaidia sisi wenyeji sasa kuweza kumsaidia Rigathi Gachagua. Na sasa hii inaibua swali la lazima kwanza tuweze kupata ushuhuda kutoka kwa viongozi ambao wanaonekana kuweza kuumia sehemu fulani ndipo sasa sisi wenyeji tuweze kuweza kuwasaidia.
Not really. Saiwa Kenya they have changed their mind since that demonstration of June. A lot was brought up. And when we were here on the bench lastly, we were just discussing about the impact that will come later. And we have seen massive impact, starting from reshufflement of this years. Right now we are seeing impeachment of the deputy. And you know William Ruto is very clever politically. So he's taking the impeachment of deputy president to be part of the problem that Kenyans had. But literally no. We had no problem with deputy president. We had problem with uchumi. We had a problem with the embezzlement of the public funds.
Nani alikuwa anafanya hizo zote?
Absolutely William Ruto. He's the one who instigates everything.
So kwa hivyo swali la kufa dereva kufa makanga unalionaje?
Kufa dereva kufa makanga is okay, and you know that is why I said the constitution is very clear. There is a joint power execution between the president and the deputy. So you telling me that now the president is clean, is as white as a crystal, is crystal clear like a cotton, and then now the deputy is now who is wrong? Hiyo ni upuzi, because William Ruto is just taking a native proverb that says, wanasema if who is this? If they want, if there is a certain animal, if it wants to eat its kids, it first of all, you know, makes them to smell like goats. That is hyena. So William Ruto is literally acting like hyena. He's now taking Gachagua. He has started now ensuring that Gachagua smells like the goat, so that he can easily eat Gachagua up. But no, Kenyans are very clever. So Ruto, as my friend said, Ruto fears somebody who comes out clearly and reveals the truth to the Kenyans. And that is the person Kenyans need. Because right now we have no opposition. You get it? Opposition was easily swallowed by the government. So who is our opposition leader who will reveal what is the vices that is happening in the government? Is Deputy Rigathi Gachagua. So Gachagua is not showing to Kenyans sympathy before we support him. Gachagua is literally showing us the right way.
Sifuna, Babu Owino, wazo lako ni lipi kuhusiana na hao kuweza kuwa vigogo wa upinzani?
They are both unworthy and unqualified to take up the opposition. Why? Because they are still saluting Baba, who has really digged this country deep down in a very deep ditch by going to the government, by going on bed with the government.
Tukimalizia, basi what makes you think that now sasa Rigathi Gachagua ataweza kuwa na msimamo dhabiti kwa sekta ama sehemu ya upinzani?
He will. Okay, the constitution also guides that once you are in power as a deputy president, you have to be guided by the constitution and the rule of law. So, but again, the same constitution also supports you to speak the truth in line with what Kenyans that you are serving demands or wants to hear. So Gachagua will be just on a neutral point to tell us, yes, I'm in the government, but this is the way to go. This is what you need to hear. So we'll support as Kenyans that, because we want to understand, we don't want to be taken into darkness. We want a regime that gives us light, a regime that is truthful, a regime that is just showing Kenyans that this is the way, this is the plans, and this is what we need to achieve.
Kwenye mitandao ya kijamii kumekuwa na mazungumzo wazi kuhusiana na jinsi Wakenya wanavyofanywa kutekeleza wajibu wa serikali ama pamoja na viongozi ambao wako kwenye uongozini. Bila shaka tukiendelea na gumzo hili, Victor, unahisi kwamba wakati mwingi viongozi ama serikali inawafumba macho wa Kenya ndipo wasiweze kuona doa ambazo zinaonekana kwenye masuala ambayo yanaendelea hapa nchini?
Ni kweli, kwa sababu impeachment motion ya deputy president, it was not a priority to Kenyans and it's not a solution to any problems facing Kenyans. President anafaa kuja atuambie, are we going to lower the cost of living? Are we going to create employment opportunities? Are we going to end corruption? And I want to laud Babu Owino for standing with the people by avoiding to go and vote for that impeachment motion. Na akasema kwamba kuna maswala mengine muhimu ambayo yanafaa kujadiliwa. So the same thing the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua mentioned yesterday and said that he spoke up to the president. Akamwambia corruption is too much in this government. Akamwambia we need to create employment for these people. Stop overtaxing our people. Stop overtaxing our businesses. Overtaxation will not raise the level of revenue. You can't increase revenue by simply overtaxing the people. Create the good environment. Kwa hivyo haya ndio maswala ambayo mwananchi wa kawaida anataka kusikia, na that's why they elected a government, woke up very early in the morning, iende kuleta solution kwa haya maswala. Kwa hivyo ninahisi kwamba impeachment ya Rigathi Gachagua, it's just a distraction of Kenyans from the facts. Kwa sababu sasa imeanza kuwa yani we are being dragged back to the old age politics ya tribes nini na vitu zingine mingi. So kwa hivyo nasema kwamba the government must focus and it must offer solutions to the challenges affecting Kenyans in this country. Every Kenyan is facing a challenge regardless of the political party they support, regardless of the tribe or the region where they come from, regardless of their religion, regardless of their socio-economic background, because hata matajiri sahi wanalia, and if the rich cry, the poor will perish. Yeah.
Kabisa. Mtazamo wako?
And again on the same, I think when the government is yet to benefit from evils, it diverts attention of the Kenyans to key matters. Impeachment was a diversion of attention to bring in Adan, right? We have a lot of strategies that the government employ, not knowing that Kenyans right now are preview to old political gimmicks and everything.
Vivera, mnajua nikakati kidogo story na SHA, ambapo pia you've mentioned something on division. Of course now kulikuwa na hii implementation ya SHA. Do you think also that is a diversion?
It's still a diversion of attention, but again, you know, when the government is using a strategy to diverge attention, it just tests the Kenyans' reaction and what have you. Remember SHA, I was just looking at the pay slips, how SHA is going to affect the employed. Like somebody who is earning 50,000, the SHA has added on top of the previous NHIF charges by around 150 shillings. So what does that one mean? The government wants again to overtax Kenyans through all those gimmicks like SHA and everything. Remember, if a population of employees, let's say around 2 million. 2 million times 150, how much is that? So the government is looting money indirectly from Kenyans by bringing in things that are not even holding grounds for them, things that have less even benefits from what we used to be.
Watu walitumia ujumbe mfupi wanasema kwamba now you can refresh, sijui ndio SHA iweze kufanya kazi. Pamoja na hayo, bila ya Mkenya kuweza kufahamu, atadial tu hiyo star something then na SHA ipate kuendelea na kazi yake. Laiti angalijua kwamba kuna utungo ambao utakuwa kwake ama pamoja na familia yake na vile vile yale ambayo itaweza kutukia. Ukiangalia pia swala la ushuru Victor, unahisi bado kwamba sasa tumeanza kulifumbia macho masaibu yanakumba wa Kenya na tunaanza sasa kuona sasa viongozi ni kina nani ambao tutawachagua?
Okay, the current political happenings ni distraction tu kutoka kwa ile mambo ambayo yanahusu Mkenya. Lakini eventually distraction haitakaa for long. Eventually Kenyans are going to regroup kwa sababu ya issues. Reason being SHA imekuja, they were sending messages to NHIF members without their consent. Unajua huwezi wekwa tu SHA without your consent. Most Kenyans did not consent and they complained about it. Also, they are going to overcharge. The charges are going higher. And also, the system that is supposed to onboard them actually does not work. Absolutely. And they've spent billions of shillings to come up with that system. And again, we are not told what happens now to the NHIF. NHIF actually here there is a scandal, a very big scandal now about NHIF and how it's folding down. So you find that hizi issue bado zitatuleta pamoja kama wa Kenya. Hii mambo ya distraction ya kidogo ya deputy president ikisha, I'm telling you Kenyans are going to go back on the street.
Wewe unaona sasa future ya political space na future ya Mkenya inakaa namna gani? Kwa dakika tu moja. Tafadhali tuanze na Victor.
The only way to end these demonstrations and this revolution that is rising up again, it's by addressing issues. If you don't address issues, you're just postponing a revolution. And when it finally comes this time round, the tactics they are using to postpone that problem will no longer apply. Na hapo ndio freedom will be found in this great country. So Wakenya wenzangu na waomba muweze kuweka government on toes. We don't have an opposition. You are now the opposition. Read, make sure you read and you reread and you question and you ask questions so that we can save our country. Thank you so much.
Have all those people who died during the flood been compensated? Have those people who died during Kware massive killings been compensated? Have those our fallen soldiers who died during demonstrations are compensated? Rather than the government focusing on the key issues, it is focusing on diverging our attentions. So Kenyans, my fellow youths, first of all, let's read the Constitution and understand it. And then secondly, let us be very vigilant. Let us be very bold, flamboyant. Let us not tolerate any vices that is going to manipulate us temporarily and cause a permanent damage into our future and the future generation. We have to stand bold, we have to stand strong, and we have to elaborate and extrapolate all the civic education in all our local areas. Thank you.
Ningelipenda kusema mengi, lakini mpenzi mtazamaji, sasa hivi tumelizungumzia jarida halisi la yale yanayotukia hapa nchini Kenya. Vera ameelezea kwa uhalisia na vile vile Victor pia amesema yake, na bila shaka mpenzi mtazamaji, wewe una yapi ya kusema kuhusiana na masuala ambayo yanaendelea kuonekana hapa nchini Kenya? Tunawahusisha baadhi ya wenyeji wengi sasa waweze kuja hapa studioni ili tuweze kujadili masuala haya kwa upana na urefu. Bila shaka mpenzi mtazamaji, ninaona mbele ipo sawa, manake ikiwa uko na organization ambayo ingependa kuweza kuhusika pia kwenye mazungumzo haya, feel free pale kwenye mitandao ya kijamii weza kutuma ujumbe mfupi ili tuweze kuanza kujadili na kupanga mikakati ya kuweza kualika nyinyi nyote. Mpenzi mtazamaji, pia vile vile iwapo una idara husika ambazo zinahusiana na masuala ya kuzungumzia masuala ya Wakenya, tafadhali kuwa tayari, manake ipo siku ambayo tutaweza kukualika hapa studioni. Sina mengi, tupatane wiki ijayo tukijadili masuala mbalimbali. Vera, asante sana. Victor, asante sana. Jina langu ni Moses Okech na hii ni Bunge la Wenyeji. Mwelekezi wangu amekuwa Duncan Uron.